Hello, welcome. Tutorial about how to make a new song in GarageBand on the iPad Pro 12.9-inch 2018 version. And this is a beginner's how-to, so if you don't know anything, but I'm sure if you do know a bit on here, I've been using GarageBand for over 10 years. So let me show you how to make music for beginners, how to make a song in GarageBand. So let me back out of this really quick. By the way, I have other videos of me actually making, some of these were live streams of where I actually make the songs live, so subscribe if you want to see that when it comes out. So see this little plus up here? That's how to make a new song. If you go all the way back, so right when you go into GarageBand, it's just going to take you right to here. There shouldn't be anything on there if you didn't make anything yet, but also you can store this, you can store the music on your iPad or in the cloud or in a drive. So, and you can probably edit that as well, but I'm just going to go with what I already have. Make a new song, and it brings you to here. So as you can see, there's a lot of different choices. Keyboard, and then keyboard has options: Smart Piano, Alchemy Synth, Sampler, and more. Drums have Smart Drums, Acoustic Drums, a sequencer, and more. There are guitar amps, bass amps, audio and instrument recording, which also you can link this, you can link GarageBand with inter-app audio to other apps and use like an auto tuner and or like other, I mean, there's probably all kinds of different apps. So one of them I have a video on already is GeoShred, which is like a guitar and stringed instrument, but also it's pretty versatile. But you can do inter-app audio and link it with this. So what you would do, just really quick, you would click on that, I clicked on the voice, and then you click on that little, it looks like a 1/4-inch plug. Click on that. You can choose like the input level. This is pretty advanced. Don't worry about all of it, but just inter-app audio right here, boom. And then you can use other apps with GarageBand. And I have a video where I actually use GeoShred to make a rock song. So I'm going to go back to what I was doing. Okay, so how do I go back? I want to go see this little button with the squares in it. I want to push that. Okay, and then I can go through and choose again. Or let's say I wanted to record vocals. You can add a new track by pressing this plus right here, and it takes me to this same choice of inputs. Strings, there's smart strings, there's notes. You can actually edit the scale you're in. If you aren't an expert, you can actually, of music theory, you can choose your scales and then you won't mess up, basically. That's the idea anyway. Bass, again, it's got the same thing, smart bass and notes. Notes is just a regular, looks just like the neck of a bass. I'm going to turn up. So I'm going to go back and keep looking. Guitar, same. World has just some different choices. I think that's awesome. I think I had to add this. I don't know if it was a default, but it's pretty easy to do. But that's world is default. Drummer, you can go in, you can pick which drums you want them to play and then choose a different drummer, and you can like go in between. So you can kind of edit what it sounds like, but it still sounds like that drummer. And since I'm a drummer, I don't use this, but you might want to use it. Oh, that's loud. So, like, you can change up the cymbals. You hear that difference? It's a ride. Ding, 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 ding. Ooh, I like this one. And then you can edit the kick and snare. Now this is pretty important because you will be needing drums most of the time. Oh, I mean, well, if you need drums, this is important. So I'm not going to go through every, so you can see it changes. I can change the kick and snare. I can change the cymbal, like which one he's playing, and like they light up, I think. I thought they lit up. Let's change the percussion. Maracas. You can barely hear the clapping. So as you can see, if you're not a drummer, then you can go louder, simpler, more complicated, softer. Let's try complex and soft and just see. Not bad. And you can turn off the metronome. I mean, since it's a real drummer, you might not need the metronome. I mean, since it's already programmed and professional. So you make it more simple, louder, complex and loud. And then fills. Yeah, that's more. And then, yeah, you can do swing note. You can add a swing, or you can do all kinds of things. It's crazy. So I'm not going to go, I could probably do just an hour on just the drumming, but I'm not. But this was the acoustic drummer. If you want to play the drums yourself, you'll have to go to drums here, which that's usually what I do. And then you can still do smart drums and you can program a sequencer. But this is like, they have a bunch of different electronic, and so you can change, you can pick a certain person, Leah, Jester, Maurice, whoever, and then Daisy, or Dancy, what does that say? Darcy. Then you can, Hotel Cafe, that sounds boring. Let's check that out. Or I better turn, it looks like I added an extra track accidentally. So to get rid of this, you just click on it. I guess click on it again. Then this menu pops up. Cut, copy, delete, loop, split, edit, rename, settings. I just want to delete that for now. And actually, I want to delete this whole track. So you just click on the track here. And another menu pops up. Delete, rename, merge, automation, show in grid, icons. I'm going to delete. So now I've just got this one. And look, I exited out of the controls down here. So see that little circle? You press that. It's not always a circle, but there we go. Okay, that's Hotel Cafe. Interesting. But anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about. I'm going to delete that about these drummers. So let's go back. You can also add, inter-app audio. You can do it right from here. Boom. And look, I've got GeoShred and one called AB Sender. So I use GeoShred in a different video, but this is external, like if you want to plug something in, if you have an interface, or there are even some cables that have an interface built in that you could probably plug right in. And then there's a sound library here that could go forever. So, oh, there are different like things, there are different sounds downloaded, percussionists. It looks like I already have this downloaded. So this is where you go to download new sounds for, how do I get out of here? Okay, so done up here. And keyboard, there's Smart Piano, Alchemy Synth. I think I started on this, so that's pretty in depth. So what are we going to start with? I always start with drums. I'm going to record some really quick because you already saw the other drummers. This is actually if you are a drummer or if you play. So you can choose a different drum sets. I'm just going to go with Classic Studio Kit for this one. Pretty cool. And, oh, you know what I want to turn off? This is the default is to hit the crash and it automatically hits the bass. And I hate that. So I'm going to try to take that away because it's been annoying me. Let me see how to do it. And you will maybe track settings. Bass drum with cymbal on, off. There. Nice. So that was in this little thing up there. Okay, so let's just go for it. If you want to change the tempo, and I'm going to turn the metronome back on. You can change what the metronome sounds like, but I'm not going to go. I don't really care because I'm going to turn it off as soon as possible because it's annoying. But if you want to make this longer than 8 measures, which is really important, I always do that first because it's really it interrupts you if you're in the middle of a song. So I'm going to change it to 16 just because it's what I usually do. And then I'm going to press this little wrench, change the tempo. 90. I'm just going for it with this. I'm totally improvising this music-wise. Okay, so that's pretty slow as far as what I would usually play, but oh well. Okay, so I have it set. I think it's default. It is that to just loop back to the beginning and start recording again. That's only really useful on the drum set because it'll re-record over, like if you're playing keyboard or something. If it loops back and you are still recording, I think usually it shuts off automatically. But with drums, I think you can just loop and keep recording because, and that's the way I usually do. As you can see, I did the bass drum first. And I could have played the snare or other things at the same time, like if I wanted to, but I prefer when I'm recording it like this. It just saves me a lot of messed up notes that, you know, if I freestyle it live, it's another story, but this is not live. Well, this is live, but you know what I mean. There were some mistakes in there, but I'm going to roll with it and then fix them later. Metronome off. So now I have to listen back through, make sure it doesn't suck. That was pretty sweet. This is pretty good. This is a little more experimental than I was planning on going. But since I went through each part individually, it gave me, since I'm a drummer, I can't help it sometimes. It was just, the tempo was slow and gave me a lot of freedom. And so if the song ends up being really complicated, I might want a more simple drum beat, but it's hard to, when there's just silence and metronome, I tend to go wild. So I'm gonna just move on. If you can't play drums, just use one of those other drummers or a beat sequencer. So to add another track, I'm gonna press the plus down here. I'm gonna add bass next, because unless I have some suddenly really good idea for another instrument, I almost always do drums and then bass and then keyboard or synth. Okay, so now that we're playing an actual, well, now that we're playing an instrument other than drums, we're going to need to decide a key for the song. So you can go to this little wrench, and the key signature is automatically C major. I'm going to play an A minor, which I believe is the same scale, but let's see if that's what I was just talking to someone about. So what you can do then is on the actual bass. So I changed the whole key of the song. Like you don't want to, it depends on what you're doing, but I change the key of the song and then worry about the key of the instrument here, because and then it will fit if you do them all like that. But I noticed if you change the key of the instrument and then change the key of the song, it like changes everything. It's I don't know. I'm gonna go to, well, it's already on. where's the major? There we go, major. So if you click major down here, it will have only the major notes. Okay, and I don't want that muted this time. I want it, let's try picked. It's a bit twang, but could be good. I usually use Liverpool, but then again, sometimes I do use the other ones. And they're also upright bass. That sounds awesome, actually. That might be what I want, but you can change it after you record and it will change the tone and everything too, so. And you can change it to, look, I mean, there are other scales. You can change it to the minor or the major or whatever, and then it will match whatever you changed the song to. So since the song, does that make sense? I feel like it's getting more confusing as I talk, so I'm just gonna make something out of that. Major scale. Actually, I might. So you can see that's the same note. There's only really 2 octaves here, or a little bit more. So I'm going to improvise something here. The more time you have to write it, obviously, depending on if you're great at improvising or writing, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to wing it for time's sake. This is pretty melodic for a bass line, but I'm just, hey, this is what I'm writing today. So let's move on, just so that you can get the idea. So how do I get out of this view of the bass? Click up here, and then you can just see the tracks. Now I'm going to add another track here. Let's try some kind of keyboard. What does Alchemy Synth do? Wow, that's pretty cool. This is called Epic Cloud Formation. So there's so many different synths. If you click on the name of it, it brings it up. And I'm sure you can download a million more. I'm going to keep it that because actually that sounded cool. But you can go through pads, organs, mallets, leads, keys, bass, arpeggiated, which play like dun 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 dun. It like plays out an arpeggio right when you touch it once. And there's also sound effects and all kinds of things. So we'll see if we can use how many of those we can fit into this. I don't think I want it right there. Oh, so you can also just scroll up and then press the plus. So I'm adding another one, but I'm going to choose a different. Clean organ. Let's try this. Wow, that was fun. So as you could tell here, the harder I push on it, the louder it was. So it's sensitive. So that's pretty cool. So it is very responsive. All right, so what's the next instrument I'm going to put in here? I don't even, I might put some percussion, maybe a little bit of guitar, but I'm done with that keyboard. And also, actually, let's go back for a minute. So let's say we're done with this part of the song. Let's say maybe this is just the intro or something. To add another section, you press this little plus. So you can see section A is 16 bars. You can duplicate it, or you can add a new section. So I'm going to add a new section because, and then I'm going to go back to the drums really quick. Uh-oh, metronome. Oh, I missed one. It's a pretty weird song. So, I mean, this is the basics. All you really need to do is repeat adding more instruments at your own discretion, and then I already went over how to lengthen and add sections, how to change the key. There are, oh, if you want to import something, you can import. Okay, so let's pretend that this song is done. I would add just a little tip on section B. Click that little I, and I would add one measure at the end just for a rest. So it doesn't just, when you share this song, so it doesn't just skip to the next song. But then you'll have to go in, see it duplicated some of that, and trim that down. So I'll show you really quick. Now I'm trapped in this section, and I can drag to the next section, or I can press this and go to all sections. It brings me back to the whole song. So, oh, there's more at the end that I need to trim off. I just want one measure at the end so you can see so that the ending. See. So if you want to add more instruments, you just click here, and then you have to play them, or if you want to play them live, you can go to the external, or you can, there's already a sound library of all kinds of loops and stuff like that. So let me show you how to share the song when you're done making it. Obviously, you can mix the levels over here. You can mute a certain track. Say you don't want to listen to the bass while you're recording vocals for some reason. Just mute the bass. Or mute the synth. Or you can just, if you want to quickly listen to only drums, you just click the little headphones. And of course, the levels, that's the volume of just the drums. This is the volume of the mass of everything. So everything is a decent level. I might take this down a little bit, or maybe you can click this, and I could pan or add reverb. Let's add a ton of reverb to that, and a little bit of echo. And then let's go to this one. No, that doesn't need. Maybe the drums a little. Oh, the drums have a little reverb. The bass does not. That's a lot of reverb. Wow. So anyway, you can edit this. You can click on the echo and reverb and change the settings. So what kind of reverb and what kind of echo. And you can add compression. You can equalize it a little bit here. You can equalize it more here. Done. I want to back out of that. And okay, so Visual IQ is off. You can edit all this too. The track settings. You can quantize, which means it changes the timing to the certain measure that you choose. Just, you can do straight, you can do triplet, you can do swing, so that, you know, if you're trying to play with a swing beat and you have it set to straight, it will frustrate you and you won't be able to figure it out. Or you can change it to none. So you can edit all these quite a bit. If you want to do that, click up there, and that's just for each track. If you want to do it for the whole song, you click up here. You can change the metronome, tempo. You can even change the time signature. You can fade out and all kinds of things. So those are all the basics of how to use this, and I'll show you how to share the song. So when you're done, you don't really need to save because it automatically saves when you press My Songs. Boom, it's saved. So actually, I don't know what that song even was. That might have been My Song 12 because I've renamed everything else. Yes. So My Song 12, if you want to rename it, just click on the name, brings up the name. I'm going to change the name so that I remember what it's called because My Song 12 does not help me at all. I'll call this Beginner Live Stream so that I remember what it was from. And then if I think of a cool name or add vocals or something later, I can change the name. So here it is. If you go back. So how do we share this on SoundCloud or to your other computer or to your other iPad? You press select. Now I'm going to click on it and you see the little check mark. So now you can share, duplicate, move, delete. Okay, and you can arrange them here too. So I'm going to share, and you can share the song, you can make it a ringtone, or you can share the GarageBand project. If someone else you know you're collaborating with has GarageBand, you can share. It's annoying though, you have to make sure everyone has an updated version. That's one thing that can get annoying. Or you can share it with someone that has the higher version, but then they can't share it backwards to someone with a lower version of GarageBand. So you need to sometimes it makes you have to get a new computer or update your software or whatever. And people complain about Apple about that, but I'm not gonna talk about it in this video any more than that. So I'm gonna just share the song. And I wanna share the uncompressed wave because it's the highest quality. I mean, I don't know that much about this, but I don't mind if it takes up a lot of space right now, really. For some reason, it won't let me edit this now, but if you edit it, you can probably set the default and then click share. I want to share it to SoundCloud, but you could share it to iMovie if you're making a movie, or you can email it to someone or save it or whatever. I'm actually not going to save it, but I'm going to put it on my SoundCloud just because. Beginner live stream. See, that's not a very good name for the SoundCloud, though. I'm going to call it the beat from the last live stream. Or the live stream beat, maybe that's a better name. The live stream beat. There we go. Public, no downloading but streaming. That's fine. You can do whatever you want. I'm already signed in. If you're not signed in, you'll probably have to sign in. It'll probably redirect you, but I must have already done it. So I'm going to just click hit share after I make sure everything's good. And if I want to change a picture, I guess I'm going to have to go into SoundCloud and change it later because it had my picture already chosen for some reason. Here we go. It's exporting. It's uploading. This is so quick. Isn't this amazing? I remember years ago, it was so difficult to do anything like this. Okay, so it's published. I'm going to visit it just to show you. And then that's it. So actually, I'll show you. Oh, it's playing anyway. All right, well, I'm going to let it play as it fades out. Thank you so much for watching. I have more videos of making music with GarageBand on the iPad. I've got a rock one, I've got a reggae one. So subscribe for more art. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any questions about how to make music or use the iPad, let me know and I'll try to make a video about it.